Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my fifth and final leadership learning and reflection experience, which is two separate experiences, but they both happened in the same week and definitely tie into the same overarching theme. The first one was a focus group that I participated in, that Chelsea and Megan conducted, and it was they were targeting the audience of African American students, and kind of what our experience was like attending UGA as a predominantly white institution, and it turned into African American student leaders' perspectives on that. And the context of the project was that we were to take 10 pictures that represent or personify in some way our experience as an African American student on UGA's campus. And then the second instance that ties in with that is a panel that I served on last week, that my roommate put on through the Black Affairs Council, and the name of the panel was Black Excellence. And so basically, it was an opportunity for four seniors, myself included, to kind of talk about our journey at UGA, our involvement, what it was like being an African American student, and kind of, you know, impart knowledge or wisdom or advice on freshmen and sophomore students. So I chose these two experiences and chose to use them together because both of them really made me reflect more deeply about my experience as a minority student on UGA's campus. Although it's something that you're definitely conscious of and aware of, I did make a conscious effort to, not make it a huge deal or not constantly think about the fact that I'm an African American woman and in the minority in a lot of ways in my classes and the organizations that I'm involved in. It's not something that always came to the forefront, and it's really hard for me sometimes to distinguish experiences that I've had, emotions that I've had, feelings, reactions to events on campus. It's hard to distinguish, what aspect of my identity that comes from. And so it really just, got me thinking a lot more deeply about like what my experience has been like as an African American student at UGA, how that's influenced me, and thinking about how it influences others as well, because everybody's experience is not the same as mine, and how those kind of like intertwine and create this culture that we have here at UGA. So I think that I had the opportunity, especially through the focus group, to really reflect on that and hear some opinions of others, and then through the panel, articulate some of that to them, and what I've learned personally through that experience, and hopefully start to create kind of a camaraderie among the group that was in that room that night. I feel like as seniors we're always like, okay, like what mark am I leaving on UGA? What legacy am I leaving for them? And for me, being able to empower the next generation of Black students at UGA, to first of all, strengthen the power of the Black community on campus, and number two, empower them to chase after whatever it is that they want here on campus, or once they get into the real world, is really important to me, and to serve as like a mentor and a resource to them, because I feel like me going through freshman and sophomore year, I didn't really have those that super strong presence or relationship with upperclassmen like I wanted to. So I touched a little bit on the empowerment idea, which is definitely a theoretical connection that I can make to these experiences. I think that that's really my ultimate goal, um, and still is before I leave UGA, is to empower the next generation of students. I talked a lot in the panel about the culture in the Black community now, and how I wish that, we were a lot more close-knit and supportive of each other, just for the sake of supporting each other. But at this point, I'm on my way out. So it's instead of me, preaching my gospel and trying to do all these things to, change and affect the Black community here. It's so much more important for me to, share that with people that are younger than me and empower them, to make that change and to set the climate for the next group of first year students that come into UGA. And so I've definitely, you know, taken on that role, and allowing them to take on those roles as they continue through their journey at UGA. And then the second, really strong theoretical connection I can make is the consciousness of self. C from the social change model. And I am definitely still learning. It's always a buzz phrase, that you find yourself and discover yourself in college, and there's so many avenues to figure that out. But it really, reflecting on, my experience as a minority at UGA has really allowed me to reflect on myself, evaluate, how self-aware I think that I am, and I think there's, no right answer or no right conclusion to come from that, except that I'm still learning. So thinking about these things have definitely made some things more clear and made some things more confusing. So I plan on, continuing to think about these things, gather more perspectives of people around me, and think about those as I, move forward into my last semester coming up here very soon. As far as things that enjoyed, both of these experiences were so enjoyable for me. It was really exciting for me to go to the focus group and hear those different perspectives. Even in a group of Black student leaders, we still kind of had differing opinions and perspectives and experiences on things, which was really fascinating for me. And then the Black Excellence panel was a really, really gratifying experience for me. I learned a lot from my fellow panelists, but then I had the opportunity afterwards to talk to some of the first and second year students, and just share a little bit more about what I had done, what they were interested in, the organizations that they were involved in. So it was just really, really enjoyable for me to kind of make those connections with them, with students that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And as far as anything that I'd like to, change about the experience, I don't think that there's really anything that I would change about those experiences that I had. I think the best thing that I could probably offer is that I wish that there were more people in the conversations. In the focus group, it would have just been helpful to have more perspectives, and we even talked about having that perspective of a student that wasn't necessarily really involved on campus, and how does their experience at a PWI compare to ours, who student leaders who have really, invested themselves in UGA, and we've gotten so much gratification out of the organizations that we've been involved in. So that's definitely something that I would add to that experience. And then the panel is many, first year and second year students We can, offer up this information. They can take it for whatever they wish. As many people that can hear that and have the opportunity to network, I think, is really the most important. And so that's something that I would change, just more people getting involved in the conversation. But I think that's it for this one.